Hey Nagios Community, Benjamin here, and this video is all about making the migration, the upgrade, the switch from Nagios Core into Nagios XI. If you're brand new to Nagios and you've already dove straight into using Nagios XI, you're already taking advantage of the best that Nagios has to offer. But keep watching, you'll still get value from what I'll show you. If you're experienced with Nagios Core and you've been following along with the videos so far in this series, you've already seen a massive difference in the experience between using Core and an enterprise-grade software like Nagios XI. Now, before I get into this easy button tool to migrate from Core to XI, let's talk about some specific differences that you may have considered or you may not have. From Nagios.org, scroll all the way to the bottom and in the footer, click on Switch from Core. That takes you to nagios.org/switch. From this page, we break down the value that users get when they make the switch from using Nagios Core to Nagios XI. Like in our other videos, we've covered the easy wizards that make setup faster and more efficient. We have custom dashboards and insights, reporting. This page equips you with all the nitty-gritty documentation on how to make sure your system is set up just right to do a proper migration. Everything from a roadmap to migrating from Core to XI to frequently asked questions like how to deploy a new instance, how to upload scripts and plugins, and how to import your config files. So there's a lot of technical detail in this, and that's all there always for you, ready to peruse. And if you ever have any trouble in your migration at any point, our support team is always there for you. We have the forum here for the CSP community, and so you never have to go too far without getting help. So what else do we have? A simple search here for Nagios Core versus XI brings us to this great feature comparison where we can show off all the different features of XI that is not native in Core. Performance graphs, LSLA reports, capacity planning, user-specific customization, multi-tenancy. So at the end of the day, Nagios XI is the enterprise-class monitoring solution from Nagios, built on top of Nagios Core. These are just some of the basic differences, but also when it comes to actual usage, there's some great things to consider. So let's talk about a few of the reasons as to why making the upgrade from Core to XI is such a game changer. Because sure, yeah, you can do a lot of what XI can do with Core, but to do it in Core, you really have to want to do it. Go out and find the components, download them, install, maintain them, make sure they're still working. The list goes on. And that's kind of antithetical to making your life easier. With Nagios XI, you want to do version control of your config files. You don't have to download anything special or program it or make sure it's working. It's built into XI. You want to run passive checks. Well, with Core, yeah, you can download NRDP and configure it and make sure it's working, or it's built into XI and it's supported and you don't have to add one more thing to your list to maintain. And if you do want some performance graphs in Core, yeah, you can get PNP from Nagios, but that's another component to download, install, and maintain. And with XI, the graphs are there ready for you to use. So the power of XI and the game changer that it is for you and your deployment is that we take on so much of the other components and their integrations and we make sure it works, make sure it's supported, and it's ready for you to use so you can focus on what matters most. All right, let's look at a few other differences between Core and XI. Let's say you're in Core and you want to add a new host. Well, you're going to go to command line and copy your host config file for one, and duplicate that, and then you're going to go in and manually edit the text file and change the IP addresses to point it to the new host you just added. Or in XI, you simply pick one of these here and you copy that, and then from here you click on this new copy and you update it to your new host and rename that, and then hit active and save, and you are ready to apply and you're set. Just a few clicks and you are monitoring your new host already. You're not diving into any command lines or any text files. It's already right there in the interface. All right, another great feature of XI is you can actually run check test commands without having to save the config or even make sure you have it right in the command line. or in the text file. So while you're editing in the interface here, you can go in here and look at your command view. You can check your arguments, and you can test different things out. And without it even being active or saved, and worrying about making sure that your commands are all perfect, you can just run a check command in the interface without even saving it. You just run it. It'll run the current configuration that you have typed in, and you can test it out this way and do any changes that you want to do in the interface here. And you don't have to get too far into your text file editing to make sure everything's correct, to even make sure you can run a test. So this is a great feature here. It's just running a check command real time. You don't have to save it. You don't have to configure it or apply it. And you can leave it inactive so you can run all the tests you want while everything else is deployed and in production. So this is also a great feature to have at your fingertips here in the interface of XI. All right, let's talk about just how easy it is to migrate a server now from Nagios Core or XI into your Nagios XI instance. So from anywhere in XI, you can search for Migrate Server. From the Migrate Server page, we have a few options here. We have our server address, a place for our username, and our password for that core server. And then also we have overwrite config options, where if you already have some hosts and services being monitored, you can overwrite those with whatever is in your core config file, or you can uncheck that and it'll just leave duplicates if there are any. And then if your Nagios config file is located somewhere else than the standard location, you can point Nagios XI to the precise location so it knows where to grab those configs. And then once you're ready, you just type in your IP address here, and you type in your username and password, and then in this case, we'll leave overwrite configs disabled, and you click Migrate. Now, Nagios XI is going to go out and collect all the configurations of your hosts and services being monitored and bring them into your Nagios XI instance. And then when it's done, you can click over here. We'll look at the Core Config Manager, and now we can see we have our new hosts being added, and we have services being added. And now that they're in XI, XI is going to now schedule checking all of those for the first time, and you're going to start to see your status is updated over the next few minutes. So this is the easy button. Obviously, there are also other ways to import your IP addresses into Nagios XI. That includes using the bulk host cloning and import wizard, where you can set up one host for being monitored and then import a whole list of other IP addresses that are the same configuration and quickly tell XI to monitor those just like your original one. All right, so that's a little bit about the many differences between Nagios Core and Nagios XI. We hope you found this helpful. Definitely check out this easy button for whenever you want to migrate from Core to XI, or even take an XI instance you're already running, maybe into a newer XI instance that you've just deployed, and you want to just quickly get your monitoring configs over to that new system right away. So keep watching for more great tips and tutorials made just for you, the Nagios community. And as always, thank you for watching and happy monitoring.